Good evening, everyone. This is your credit card, Jess, and how may I say, video game prices. They might be getting a little wacky nowadays. You could even say quite exorbitantly priced. And why is that? Well, we gotta start looking back in time to the first video game to ever exist. You had games that were $60. That was your top of the line game. Some games were $50. That was probably still a top of the line game, but they wanted to charge you 10 less because they actually liked you. $40 games, this was probably some of the games that you probably didn't want to play that they took $20 off, but it's as $40 anyway, so it's kind of in a weird limbo status. $30 is a reasonable charge for a game, you know, that's not too crazy. $20? All right, we're cooking. That is a very nice deal. Very nice here. $10? Say less, my pants are already off. $0? Let's just say I will never play League of Legends. Unfortunately, games that are $0 include games like League of Legends. So really, who's the real loser here? But point being, this has been the balance of power in games. You either have a game that's free, or you have a game that goes up to $60 in price. And that was the spectrum. Where it lied probably determined the quality of the game. Well, also whether you were kind of satisfied with, man, I spent $60 on this game, but in fact it was not Knack 3, The Knackening. I'm still waiting on Knack 3, The Knackening. And that's going to be $120. That's going to be a crazy game. I'm going to really enjoy that one. We have seen increases where games are like, you know what? It's me, EA, or Ubisoft. One of the two. We're usually poopy heads. And how may I say, we're bringing the games up to $70 now. You know, $70? Is that too crazy to charge for a game? You know, $10 more? Squeezing the lemon just for a little bit more juice. And you know, for some, that could be seen as not too unreasonable. $10 more? Okay. The economy's gone blown up by a grenade or two or 70,000. Okay, I could see charging a little bit more. But is it really worth it? It feels like the same stuff we've kind of been doing for about 80 years. And you making that observation, we're going to have to get rid of you. You're analyzing too much and you're thinking too much. We can't have people who think around here. That's bad. Are you really seeing greater games at $70? No. But then that brings us to now games from Nintendo, from the recent Nintendo Direct, are looking at $80, $90, $1,287. Palworld. And now people are getting, all right, you're looking greedy, selfish even. The exorbitant prices that you have placed upon my wallet weigh heavily upon my pocket. I cannot walk. I cannot stand. My legs are now broken. I cannot pay my medical bills. And you know, that's a reasonable reaction. $80? Essentially, we've gone in $20 from 60 now. It's at least 2 night market skins from Valorant. But I want to try to shift away the negativity towards the $80 price. Because, like I mentioned earlier, with $70, you could expect it as like, it's not too unreasonable for them to charge a bit more. But $80, there's a secret key here. So let me break out a price sheet of a game. So you have cost to produce and then your profit margin. And $60, good profit margin, covers cost to produce, especially if you sell a lot, and gives you money to produce the next game. That is typically our price chart, right? Apparently I had it at 20%, 20%, 20%. Apparently that's wrong. The cost of production needs to be 0.05 and profit needs to be 1 bajillion. I messed that up, but you know, it's my first day on the job. But point being is you have basically, these are your set rules of where money goes, and that determines the price of the game. And that's kind of how it's always been. It's been a good system, but there's been something that's been secretly revealed. So let's take the $20 model. So $20 goes to the company, right? Those are your big heads, like Heavy, Team Fortress 2, the scientist guy from Half-Life, and Big Head Larry, whose head is actually relatively large. Then you have to pay the people who made the game. So that would be $20 in total. So you take 19 of those dollars, you give that to Reggie, and then $1 goes to the people who made the game. Overall, per game. Now, with that being said, we're at the last $20. And this goes to the government, specifically Solid Snake. Specifically Kojima, because Kojima obviously runs the government, especially ever since Death Stranding 2. So that leaves us with $60 and $20 remaining to reach our $80 total. Now, you might be wondering, how could we actually reach the $80? Where does that $20 go? Why would I feel justified in paying $80 for a game now? And the extra $20, why would I feel justified? Now, you might be wondering who the money might go to. I've mentioned the people who made the game, the company that ran it, Kojima. So, with that being said, who does this money go to? Or, better question, where? Is it even an entity? Is it a real being? Let me tell you, you might not be expecting this. Hoopla! No, I'm kidding. That's not Hoopla in gaming. Now, let me tell you this. There is a secret world order that controls the video games. We call these people publishers. But not just any publishers. Platforms. Not just any places. Marketplaces. And where is this going to? That's right. Gabe Newell. And the thing is, the reason why you should pay $20 more is because Gabe Newell has the best marketplace, Steam. And if Gabe Newell doesn't get those $20, everyone will die and Steam will die. And Steam's way better than every other marketplace because it doesn't suck ass. So you have to pay $80 for the game, or else Gabe Newell cannot keep Steam running. Because here's the thing, Steam, their profit margin does not equal the cost to run Steam. Steam costs about $8 bajillion to run, while Steam's profit margin is 2. And that is because people are spending money on these things called groceries and gas for their motor vehicles, which is crazy. When Gabe Newell is dying, no one else is looking out for him. That is why the price of games has gone up to $80 and even $92. It's to save Gabe Newell and the platform Steam. Because if you don't pay $100 for a game, Gabe Newell will die. $110 is completely reasonable. $120? That's a steal. If I'm getting $130, I would be very, very, very happy for the product I received. $140? Please, that's easy money. $150? Nintendo's just handing me Donkey Kongs. $160? Gabe Newell's personally handed me Half-Life 3. $170? Let me tell you this, I now own one game. $180? Now that is the golden margin of where we shall see games. Gabe Newell will survive. All the game companies will survive. EA will finally become like all the other game companies and not absolutely terrible. And Ubisoft will finally put effort into a game that isn't just mediocre. And with that being said, everyone spend $80 on games right now because we need to get the price of games up to $180. By telling them that we will spend $80 on a game, they will eventually charge $180, bringing peace to the world and giving Gabe Newell enough money to begin his ascension into Cyberpunk so he may become